And Happy New Year! Welcome back to Conscious Evolution. I'm your host, AJ. It is January 1st, 2019. Happy New Year, everybody. Hope you had a good night. I'd like to introduce you to this guy, Case Parks, Everyday Masters. If you don't know who he is, go to this channel right now. Watch his videos, subscribe, hit the notification button. He's a great guy. I love this dude. Alright, so he's going to talk about, well, I'll just let him say it. Let's go ahead and listen to this. Alright, by the way, I recorded a show similar to this 2 days ago, about 45 minutes long, and didn't have the microphone on. Oh, I was irritated. Alright, this is Everyday Masters here. He's going to talk about an awakening, so let's check this out. This is actually the first video I ever saw of him, and then, you know, when I first started getting into my spiritual quest here, and watched this video, before I really knew who he was, I didn't have any clue. I was just going through anyone talking about higher selves or synchronicities. I just wanted to, you know, learn more about it, especially with higher self. You know, reconnecting with higher self, I think, is a title that got me interested in this video. So I watched it and listened to the whole thing. It's like it's a 38-minute video. And it, you know, I really liked it. It gave me a lot of things to think about. But I would say maybe a week or two after watching this, you know, I didn't see his channel. I didn't go to his channel or see any other of his videos. And maybe a week or two later was when I had a vision. You know, I was falling asleep, and then I was just like a picture was inserted into my head, and the picture was basically me, and the tips of my fingers were all glowing balls of light, like white light, like some ET shit, you know. So that jolted me awake. It was right as I was falling asleep. It was like boom, and then I woke up. I was like, oh, what do you do with that? What is that supposed to mean? Had no idea. So I went back to sleep after my heart stopped racing and I calmed down. And then the very next day I was led back to his channel, and I think it was even this video, My Best Friend is a Death Walker, this was either the first or second video I watched, and he's talking about frequency or light coming out of his hands. So that started my journey on this this healing frequencies that everybody can access. You know what I mean? We're all, you know what, we're gonna let him talk about it. I'm just rambling on. All right, Case Parks, Everyday Masters.
About, you know, the holographic universe and, you know, how we should follow the lunatics. I kept talking about this awakening, you know, and how people are stepping through believing into this knowing. You know what I mean? They're remembering who they are, why they're here, and what's going on. Now, that's kind of vague. You know what I mean? Like, what the hell does that even mean? They're remembering who they are. So, you know, this video is basically for the people that felt those frequencies, you know. And one thing I noticed in the emails is that they kept talking about these synchronicities they're seeing in their life. You know what I mean? They're seeing the same numbers over and over. You know, they're having this ringing in their ear. You know, they're having these strange memories of past events that it's almost like they're having two memories. You know what I mean? They can remember two versions of like a Thanksgiving dinner, like, you know, 15 years ago. And so this is all connected. You know, like if you don't believe in like reincarnation and you think that your consciousness, you know what I mean, your soul, your life force never existed before your mom and dad had like drunken sex after a party. If you're going to watch the rest of this video, man, just keep an open mind and see if anything resonates with you. You know what I mean? If it doesn't, then just move on. You know what I mean? I always try to say that because, dude, what I'm making here is for like 1 to 2% of the population. So I guess the real question is, what are we waking up to? You know what I mean? Like, what are we remembering? How do we know what's going on down here and why we're here? I guess I can only come from my perspective and what has become obvious for me through the synchronicities that I'm finding in my life. So the person talking to you right now, Case, you know what I mean? I'm like having this physical experience on earth. You know what I mean? I'm completely unique. I have my own consciousness, and I'm carving out a life for myself, you know, down here on earth. But dude, this isn't really me. This Case talking to you right now, dude, it's a tiny, tiny fraction of who I really am. And what we're awakening to is who we really are, not on this level, but in the fuller level. So imagine a sun, okay? You're looking at this sun and there's just rays of light coming out all over the place. Well, the Case talking to you now, dude, I'm like one of those rays. Just let's say there's millions of rays. Well, I am one of those rays. I am down here. I've stepped down my consciousness to focus myself into this physical plane to go through these experiences. But the real me is the sun. It's all of the sun. So when Case's time's up, you know what I mean? When my game's over down here, dude, I merge back with my fuller self, my higher self. You know, I usually use the terms higher self or oversoul. You know what I mean? That's it. Trust me, it doesn't matter what you call it. Every single ray of this sun is a life experience. And so, you know, as I go through life, you know, you gain this wisdom. So, you know, these experiences on life, you gain this wisdom. Now, I know when you look around, you see the opposite is true also. You know, the people, the older they get, the more narrow they get in their thinking, and their box gets tighter. Well, I'm not talking about those kind of people. I'm talking about the kind of people that when you go through life, your consciousness, your awareness expands. You see more depth in every single experience. I'm talking about the people that live in a box like this, and then all of a sudden they realize, wait a second, what's this? Because this is real, but this doesn't fit into my box right here. And so they expand their box. That's the type of wisdom that I'm talking about, where you...
If you guys watch any of my videos, you know exactly how I feel about boxes in your mind. Stop putting stop putting your stuff in a box, and stop not accepting information that doesn't fit in your box. If it doesn't fit in your box and you can't accept it, then you're not going to grow. You're not going to evolve.
You get more wisdom with the longer you're on the planet. So if you've had all these lives, you know what I mean, on Earth, and you've done all these experiences, you know, you've killed, you've been killed, you've died at 110, and you've died at 2 months, and you've been every race and every religion and lived all around the world, okay? Well, with each one of those experiences, there's a certain wisdom that's gained, okay? Like, that's just obvious, right? You would have a different perspective of this reality that we're going through. And so with each one of these different perspectives, there's a certain wisdom that is increasing, more of a knowingness, okay? Now, let's talk about these frequencies, because these frequencies, when these frequencies first came onto the planet in the early 90s, and you know, a lot of people think, oh, well, when you say these frequencies are new to the planet, you know, there's a lot of people that are like, how can there be anything new? Well, dude, there's new stuff. So, you know, you can either accept the fact that there's a new frequency on the planet that was never here before the 90s, or you can stay in your box and just believe that there's nothing new.
Exactly.
Now scientists are telling us about these frequencies, that they've never seen anything like it on the planet. And the reason that they say that we can access these frequencies now You know, science always has to come up with explanation for everything.
Mm-hmm.
So scientist says that, you know, we live in this bubble, you know, of height, width, depth, and time, okay? And they said that something's happening to time. That time is actually expanding in all directions. And so if you imagine this bubble that we're living in, as it expands, it's becoming more porous. And so as it expands, it's letting in these new frequencies for us to access. Now that's scientists saying this. I actually personally don't believe that. I personally believe that these frequencies have always been sitting in this section of the galaxy, just waiting for the Earth to pass through. You know what I mean? Like the galactic plane. And it takes like 36 years for us to get through this galactic plane in the Milky Way galaxy. Well, guess what? These frequencies basically came onto the planet exactly when we entered the edge of the galactic plane. I don't know. Kind of find that interesting. And I kind of find it interesting also that all these ancient belief systems always talked about this age of awakening of mankind, this golden age. And they all talked about this time right now that we're going through. Now, how can they all talk about the same thing using different terminology, but they're all talking about the same time frame? And I think it's because they knew that in this section, they somehow knew that in this section of the galaxy that we were getting ready to go through, we would be exposed to these frequencies. And these frequencies were going to accelerate our awakening. So my oversoul is always with me. You know what I mean? It's constantly monitoring what I'm doing down here because it's me. You know what I mean? We're one. So while I'm down here playing this game, of course it has an invested interest because it's me. You know what I mean? And so when I'm down here in this physical plane, man, I have such a limited view. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like here I am and I'm like in this jungle and I'm like cutting my way through and I'm like, that's where I want to go. That is what I want to experience. But dude, like, I'm in the midst of it. You know what I mean? I have such a narrow view on the potential, on the possibilities of what can happen and how they can play out. But dude, we all have our higher self. We all have an oversoul. And that oversoul is on the mountaintop. And it has a completely different perspective of what's going on down here. So here I am, I'm cutting through the jungle, I'm trying, but this is what I want. And dude, my oversoul is on the mountain. It's going like, yo, dude, no. Take 3 steps back and go to the left. Well, like, I'm down here and I'm like, why would I go back? Dude, that's where I'm going. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to go back. And I start, you know, my mind takes over my beliefs. So I get this urge to go back. But my rationale says, dude, I'm trying to get from point A to point B. Why would I go back? You know what I mean? So I have a very limited view on what my possibilities, what my opportunities are. So, like, let's use an example. So I just invented a golf product, okay? And I need to find a plastic injection mold company, manufacturer, to make this product. So I've spent like 3 weeks, man, all day, every day, researching every plastic injection manufacturer. But I'm feeling this pressure. I got to do this. I got to do that. I got to get my product on the market. But as I'm sitting there typing away, basically just wasting my time getting nowhere, I get this urge. You know, I look over and I see my dog and I'm like, man, how cool would it be for me to go get my bike and we go to that park and I go for a ride on my bike and my dog runs with me. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, wow, that feels exciting. I think that's what I should do. And then my rational mind kicks in and it's like, dude, no, what you need to do is you need to find a manufacturer for your new product. You don't have time to be going out with your dog, going on a mountain bike ride. That doesn't serve any purpose. So I sit there and I continue to type and I continue to research. I got that urge to go on a mountain bike ride with my dog from my higher self. This urge came over me. I looked at my dog. I got this feeling of excitement. I saw us doing it, yet I blew it off because I couldn't see how that would help me. When come to find out, if I would have put my bike in the car, taken my dog out, at the exact moment that I'm pulling into the parking lot, Alan, my good buddy from high school, who I haven't seen in 15 years, shows up and he's like, hey man, what are you doing? Well, I tell him, hey, I just invented this new product and I'm, trying to find a manufacturer right now. And he's like, dude, my brother-in-law is the manager of the biggest plastic injection manufacturer in China. He goes, dude, he's actually in town right now. Why don't you come over and show him your molds or show him your diagrams and we'll see what happens. But I didn't follow my instinct because my rational mind couldn't see how going on a bike ride was going to be the best thing for me at the time. You know why? Because the mind that we have is so limited. It cannot see all the possibilities. It cannot see all the synchronicities. It is so limited. It has no idea how something is going to happen. It's just capable of knowing how something has already happened. So we think, well, if it has happened this way, then it has to happen the next time it happens. It's got to happen the same way. No, it doesn't. That's a very limited view. And the more you connect with your higher self, the stronger these impulses come. And you start trusting yourself and you start seeing these synchronicities. You know what I mean? Like, if you get this crazy feeling to go to the store, you know what I mean? And then all of a sudden you go to the store and you encounter somebody or you overhear a conversation that makes everything click in your mind, there was a reason that impulse said go to the store. And so for all these people who are experiencing these alternative memories, they're also experiencing these same numbers. They're seeing the same numbers over and over, whatever that is, 11, 11, 12, 12, 3, 3, 3, whatever. Mm-hmm. I mean, I've been seeing for the last 6 years, every single day, I see the same 6 numbers in different combinations 50 to 100 times a day. And I mean, when I first started seeing these numbers, I was like, holy shit, dude, I'm going to win the lottery. But I started realizing that what's that subtle feeling to look over at the clock and to always see the same numbers. That's coming from my higher self, from my oversoul. You know what I mean? It's a very subtle movement. For your oversoul to get you to look at the clock at a specific time, that's no big deal because we don't question it. There's no rash like, why should I be doing this? We just do it. But when we get an urge to all of a sudden stop what we're doing and go take a bike ride, then our rational mind kicks in. And what happens is we rationalize our dreams to death. Literally. We can't figure out how this is going to happen. That's not our job.
We can't see it. We think, we get in our minds that we need to do whatever it is that you're doing, and it's a boring, mundane task. The just cogs in the wheel, just moving, going through your daily activities like a robot. That's fine, I guess, if that's how you want to live. But if you get an impulse, if you get an urge to do something, that is most likely coming from your higher self. And then when you get that urge, then you start to rationalize or let fears or beliefs rationalize that to death, and then you won't go through with it. You won't do this. But your higher self, your higher mind is telling you to do this for a reason, because it's in your highest excitement. Let me wonder if I can pull this up. Where's it at? Is it where I need it to be? Oh, perfect. This is Bashar, which is Darryl Anka, and he channels this entity, Bashar. So we're going to go ahead and check this out. I think it's right here.
You hear that all the time, but the thing I appreciate about the way Bashar delivers it is he doesn't just leave it as a metaphysical aphorism. He explains the physics behind why is it important to follow your passion. How does that work? How do you apply it? How do you get an effect? He leaves people with toolkits that they can use, because it's all well and good to hear nice phrases, but if you don't know what really to do with that, if you don't really know how to use that to change your life, it really doesn't do you much good. So he's very good at breaking it down, grounding it, if you will, bringing it down to earth, no pun intended, and giving people something they can walk away with, that they can apply day after day, and hopefully learn to use well enough that they don't have to go running back to someone like him, that they understand they have the ability to tap into what they need to tap into and create their own lives in the way that they wish to.
What are some practical things that we can do on a day-to-day basis to have our thinking be such that we can be on an optimal path, on the optimal track for ourselves?
Do you understand the whole concept of why it is important to act on your highest excitement every moment? Hesitation usually means no.
No.
All right. That's your answer. You see, you hear in what you call your New Age parlance the idea of following your bliss, acting on your excitement, acting on your highest joy. But why? Why is that important? The reason is the answer to your question. What you actually call excitement, what the body's translation is of that sensation, is it's actually representative of the vibratory frequency of the energy that represents your true natural self. So if you always act on the thing that contains the most excitement at every given moment to the best of your ability with zero expectation as to what the outcome ought to be, you will be walking the optimal path no matter how it looks. You see, the idea is that many of you have been taught to think that, well, I am at A, I want to get to Z, and the straightest path is to go from here to there. Whereas, if you follow your excitement, the path may seem to go like this. But you see, because it's representative of your excitement, because it's representative of your true vibration, you'll actually become superconductive and pass that energy through you very quickly and move on that path much more quickly than a smaller path that's not you, because the smaller path will be representative of resistance. And you'll find yourself pushing against it and going backwards and taking a lot of time to walk that path. Whereas if you go the longer path, but it is representative of your excitement, you'll actually get to Z faster. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
This is simple physics. It's just about aligning with the vibration of who you actually are. And the things that excite you the most excite you the most because they're representative of your true natural frequency. So acting on the things that excite you the most is like following the compass needle that's pointing to your true magnetic north. And if you just keep doing that, you will find that that excitement will become the driving engine and the organizing principle of your life, and will attract to you every single situation you need to continue to act on more and more and more opportunities that bring more excitement. That's actually all you need to do. At any given moment, you have a number of things that are available to you to take action on. It doesn't matter what they are. Just pick the one that has the most excitement, that you have the greatest degree of ability to take action on, and act on it to the best of your ability until you can take it no further with absolutely zero expectation. And if you just keep doing that, you will find that your life will become an ecstatic explosion of synchronicity. Does that answer your question?
It does. Thank you.
Thank you. Remember, this is just simple physics. It's nothing mysterious. It's just physics.
Boom. Follow your highest excitement to the best of your ability with zero expectations of a result. You can come up with a plan in your mind to do something that's exciting for you, but you need to let go of it needing to play out however you see it in your mind, because then if you have that expectation, then whatever happens in this plan doesn't go according to plan, then you will take that as a negative thought. Because if it doesn't go the way you plan it, then you'll see that as something that's not in your highest excitement. And then it just kind of ruins everything. It defeats the entire purpose of following your highest excitement to the best of your ability with zero expectations on the outcome. You know, let's say you drive to work. Nice, boring, you take the quickest way, and it's a nice, long, mundane, boring drive. Every day. That's what you do. Let's say you find a new route that goes through, like, you know, the mountainside or down the coastline on the beach, and it's beautiful, and you just take in all the sights and you're absolutely enjoying it. That trip could be miles longer, but that time will go by twice as fast as your mundane trip to work on your normal route, the fastest, in quotations, fastest route. Because time flies when you're having fun. That's crazy. You've been saying that your whole life. Time flies when you're having fun. And it does. It's because you're following your highest excitement. And you're living out a passion or something that you're excited about. And that's what life's about. If we're not following our highest passion, then what the hell are we doing? You know? We're doing what other people tell you or what you have been raised to believe is fun, but when you do it, you have zero fun, zero excitement. That is boring to you, but you go through the motions. Life isn't about going through the motions. It's about enjoying your life, following your highest excitement to the best of your ability with zero expectations on the result. Okay, now moving on. That was Everyday Masters. That was Case Parks. Definitely check out his videos. I'll put a link below for all these videos I'm showing here. I love each and every one of you. Happy New Year.